Okay, do let me know in the chat, guys. Can you hear me? Can you see the screen? Is everything looking good? Appreciate it all. Awesome. Awesome. Appreciate the feedback, guys. Thank you very much, Andy. Gregory, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it, Jim. Awesome. So once again, same as last time, want to get to know you guys better. If you guys don't mind, we have around 20 people so far. Do let me know if you guys are first timers, or if you've been to my streams before. Just want to make sure you are familiar with the concepts that we use here. Obviously, this is PrimeVerse live stream and live trading session, but I do use some of my personal concepts here, so I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable with them before we start the analysis and live trading. On a quick note, before the session started, I had a chance to quickly get into a very small trade. The signal was provided on our PrimeVerse platform, so I went ahead and took it. It was a small sell with a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio right here. We already closed it, so I'm looking forward to more trades as we go through the Tokyo session. But of course, we'll have more opportunities. But it was a very nice trade for roughly 500 pips approximately. We closed it with a $500 profit right here. Okay, so nice start of the Tokyo session. And as you guys can see, last time I traded it seriously was on Monday when we met for the stream, and then a couple occasional trades showing some example to people. But yeah, so I'm not over trading on this account. Just a quick report, right, as to how we're doing. Started with $5,000, as mentioned, live account, and we are at $32,000 so far. So a total of $7,000 added to the account. That's roughly 25-30% already. Again, this is in the matter of a couple trading sessions. So we'll get started. We obviously met on Monday and we had a bit of a trading session then. And as you guys can see, the situation has changed quite a bit from Monday, right? We were right there during our trading session, and the market had a big sell-off, consolidation, and then another sell-off before the Tokyo session. So what we did, right, when we were trading it, we've caught a sort of a retracement. I'll actually use this session indicator just to show you guys. So we had a sell-off during New York. We tapped into the lows, and we were able to take the opportunity of a couple sells, right? So we did a sell here, right? And then another buy towards the end of the session, right? So since then, what the market did is it's nice to do a quick recap so we understand the whole situation. We tapped the lows and we created a lower low right here, right? We tapped into this level precisely $4,000. Funny enough, we had this marked up, right? So if I remove the sessions, everything that we discussed has been marked up from before, and this was this candle right here, the 4-hour candle from where we started the whole bullish move. So keep that in mind. It's important to have the charts marked up based on what we discuss, right? It is gonna yield very good results for you guys going forward if you guys are marking up your charts, because those will show you that it is an important level in the market that you guys need to follow. Okay. Now, since then, market conditions have changed, right? So what we were discussing, we are following the market trend a lot, right? And based on market trend as of right now, just to show you guys, we've had a series of highs, lows, lower high, lower low, so forth, right? So the situation has changed since then. What I told you guys was this, right? If we break this retail trend line right here, right, we have a change of character. If we break this trend line, change of character means what? A change in the trend, right? On a scale on over 1 hour, so on and so forth, we change the trend from bearish to bullish, right? And on a shorter time frame, smaller time frame, we did change the trend. So I just want to highlight it for you guys, right? We've had a bit of a low here. So let's remove just these lower highs and lower lows. Remove all that, okay? Now we had a low right there and a high, and then we had a higher low right here, right? So we created a higher low and we created a higher high. So market structure has shifted for us since Monday when we met, right? We've had a pretty bearish candle to start with, start the week, right? And now if we check the weekly candle, it is pretty bullish right there, okay? Let me remove some of the drawings so you guys can see. Just clean, naked chart, right? So we had this huge, huge wick towards the start of the previous weekly candle, and now we're trending higher. So the weekly candle is bullish as well as the daily, right? So today, as soon as the Tokyo opened up, we have a pretty bullish evening so far, right? So we want to follow the trend, follow what it's doing, but keep in mind the levels as to how far the price can get to, right? So once again, if we bring back our indicators and bring back our drawings and everything, we have the, I'm going to remove some of these here. We have certain levels, right? So this blue line is our weekly open candle. Okay, keep that in mind. Weekly open. Let me actually move it to the right. Bear with me a second. Bottom right. There you go. Okay, so we have the weekly open and we have the 4 hour high right here, 4 hour high marked up, and we have the 4 hour low right there from the previous session. Notice how nicely we tapped into it once, twice, and almost the third time, right? So it is important to keep the levels on, even when your, analysis changes its direction, right? The levels will still be important for you to look into and for you to consider your next play. So we'll probably extend this line right here, right? So this is our kind of a support line over there below the 4 hour. That's where we tapped into. And then we have our daily open. I did not change the daily open much, okay? So keep in mind that daily open is just below the weekly. I don't like to have two lines very close to each other, so I'll just keep it where it is, okay? I have the previous daily open is showing me the bullishness. I can probably copy it and place it there, okay? Just for the sake of visual representation, but I don't necessarily need it as of right now. Okay. So once again, we reached this area, the 4 hour from where we had a sell-off right here. We marked it up. It was our previous week open, right? So if you go into weekly time frame and check it out, this is where the bearish week opened up, right? And notice how nicely what happened is we are tapping it for the third time already. Okay. The third 1 hour candle is tapping into the previous week open, hence why we use these weekly levels and so forth. Okay. So what I think is possible as of right now is some bearish continuation into the downside. Again, we could definitely enter a trade, 2, 3 minutes ago. Yes. But I want you guys to be aware of the analysis, of the thought process, etc. Even if the price runs away from us, it's okay, right? I'm not necessarily here to, just signal, 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 signal. I'm here to show you guys the thought process, the logic behind it, etc. So we tapped into this level one more time, and we will see if we can get a nice continuation to the downside, a small retracement back up, and then I would be looking to get into some sells, just because again, for the 3rd hour in a row, we're creating this rejection right here. Okay, so on a smaller time frame, again, notice the candles pattern. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 bullish candles, and then candles are becoming bearish right now, right? So it would be nice to get into some sells, but again, we missed this high right here, this tap into the weekly open. So I'm not going to rush into a sell right here. Remember what I mentioned to you guys and what we use for our analysis. Number one, right? Risk management. We always manage 1 to 2% of the account, not more than that. So for this account, we use 200 to 50 to $500 risk. And then we use rule of three confirmations, right? So once again, don't forget that the market trend is bullish for now, right? So we are kind of trading against the market, if you want to say so. Hence why I'm not rushing into sells, even though it could give us a nice pullback to the downside. Now, we use RSIs for a confirmation of the high or of the low, right? So what you guys can see right here, RSI was pretty high. We tapped in the weekly level. So it was a nice short area for sure. But once again, we're not necessarily with the right market trend. So one confluence less does not give us as much certainty about this trade as we would like to have. Of course, we can check Zonar, order blocks, and fair value gaps. And you guys can see Zonar, the software that we use on PrimeVerse, is giving us actually a buy signal right here, right? Buy with a stop loss and take profits. So it's mixed signal, right? I'm not necessarily convinced that I should be entering sells as of right now. What's possible is we could even break this level, but we'll mark it up, okay? Obviously don't know the future. We'll mark up the level and we will have a play with the highest probability going forward, okay? So this whole area right here is what we rejected multiple times, but notice how we got supported just now from the previous low. Okay. Right here, we got supported. So we'll mark that up as well. Okay. We'll see. We'll enter a trade. I would be looking for a small short. If we get a little bit of a reaction back to the upside, otherwise, I'm gonna stay out for some time now. Okay. Let me know if you guys have questions, if everything makes sense, the analysis, the thought process, and so forth. If no questions, we'll of course place some trades going forward into the session. But if anyone wants to learn anything, please, this is the opportunity for you guys to learn, ask questions to get better in your trading. So do ask away. I'll be happy to provide you guys with some guidance. Okay. But for now, once again, we'll see if we break lower into this area right here. Okay. This area of consolidation is where we could reach next if we break this level. And then we will take action accordingly from there. Now, a couple of things that we could do, we could mark up our levels once again. This was the daily open, right? And price has reached the previous week candle from where we're rejecting right now. Okay. So what I would do, I would pull up a fib right here, okay? My fib levels, and I will see as to how far down can we go before we continue to the upside. Because overall, the trend is bullish, as we mentioned, right? The market structure has shifted bullish, right? We have a high, a higher low, another higher high, and so forth, and then some equal lows right here, right? So it's important to keep in mind that market structure is bullish still, right? Even though we could have some short-term bearish pullback as we're having right now. Okay. What's possible is we could reach this area right here. Okay. The previous highs, 61% retracement, and then take along from there. So we're going to keep in mind and we're going to keep an eye out. As you guys can see again, RSI is pretty low right now. So I'm not looking to get into any shorts right away. Okay. But what we could do is wait for a bit of a pullback to the upside for RSI to get normal again in terms of getting back up to the highs, right? If it goes higher right here, we would be looking to enter around this area for another move to the downside. And then once again, I would be looking for the price to come back and retest the 61 level, this level of resistance right here, before we move lower to our next targets. Okay. Or we could just push lower right away and then take a buy from there. Either or. It depends on how price decides to react from this level here. Okay. So keep it in mind. We will take different directional action depending on how the price behaves. Okay. Let me check the chat real quick. We have some first timers. That's good. Paige's been here before. Good evening, Paige. And then Gregory's asking, how do you turn on stock RSI representation on your trading view? Good question, Greg. So let me show you how it's done, okay? For anyone who is not aware of how to set up your indicators, how to add them, and so forth, let me show you guys how you do that, okay? So I have it at the bottom of my chart already, but let me show you an example if you don't have it, okay? So I'll just delete that. I don't have a stock RSI. There you go. You go into indicators right here. At the top center of your screen, there is an indicator button. Click on that. And then again, I have it added to my favorites. But if you don't, just search for it. Just type in RSI and you will find stochastic RSI, right? It's not going to be highlighted in favorites. So you can just add it to favorites for you and click on it. Once you click on it, it will pop up at the bottom of your screen right away. Okay. So you just use that. You can make it a little bit smaller or a little bigger as you wish, right? I don't like to have it too big. I can see if it's low or high. So that's enough for me personally. I'm just using it as a nice indication. What we could do, guys, quick one, we could take a quick buy from here. Okay. Let's do that. Again, this is a high risk trade. So just keep it in mind. I don't necessarily I don't want to say this is a signal per se, right? Because again, it is high risk. We could just smash lower from here, but let's just take a small buy for the sake of scalping. Okay. And we'll use a stop loss with around 1.5%-ish. Okay. And then take profit is going to be right here. So we're aiming at 2% return with a 1.5% stop loss, a little over 2%, right? 600 bucks approximately. And what we're betting on here is that price will come back to our area of interest from where we could get into a short. Okay, so if anybody's going to be asking, yes, I did go long just right now with the expectation that the price will come back to our area of interest before continuing the sell-off. The reason I did is this area of interest right here, right? That's number one. We could probably pop an RSI, sorry, a Fibonacci. This is a 38% Fib right here, right? So multiple confluences are there for me, as well as general market trend is bullish, right? Even though we are in a bearish correction. So again, I'm happy to take that hit. If I'm wrong, that's okay. 97.80 up until '04. Okay. So let's mark it up on the chart. If we take a small loss, that's okay. Again, guys, make sure you manage your risk, right? So if you're trading with a $1,000 account, it should be no more than $10 risk for you guys, okay? 10, $20 roughly, right? If you're taking that trade. And then our stop loss is around here. Okay, that's the trade for now. Again, high risk, keep it in mind. But I'm just betting on the fact that price will come back before continuing lower because we did have a break of structure right here. So it would be nice to create a sort of a trend and then take it from there. Okay. Let's check the comments if anyone has any questions. No questions, surprisingly. Okay, guys. Um, Sunny's asking what was the stop loss? So Sunny, I'll be honest with you, the stop loss should be pretty tight, to be honest. It should be roughly like oh 05-ish, oh 05 approximately. Right? Because if it goes lower, we could take a long from another area. So I would even make my stop even tighter, 0550-ish, right? If you were trading yourself as well, right? If you were placing a trade. But keep in mind, you notice how the price is going lower right now. We are creating a couple bearish candles on 1 minute time frame. So gotta be careful. Once again, what the price could do is price could just smash a little bit lower to the next area, right? Before we continue the retracement back up, right? So what we could do is just smash a little bit lower before we continue higher and move lower again, right? It is entirely possible too. And then in these type of cases, what I do is just I extend my fib lower and then I still look for the same setup. It's still going to be valid setup, right? So I'm happy to take a little bit of a hit here if I'm wrong. But once again, if you're taking these trades, make sure you're taking them for educational purposes only. Want to mention once again, we do not provide financial advice per se. What we want to do is to show you guys what is the thought process behind analyzing the price action, right? When you're looking at the price, you got to understand things that are happening and be able to take decisions off of that, right? Maybe this will go through. Maybe not. Who knows? We don't know the future, unfortunately. But funny enough, I'm wearing this turtleneck right now. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says brave right there for me. So you got to be brave in these markets. If you're looking to make a dollar, you got to be ready to risk half a dollar yourself as well. So got to take a little bit of braveness here to trade in these type of markets, especially beginning of Tokyo session. Notice how we've consolidated a little bit here, right? So what I'm even going to do, I'm going to reduce my stop loss just all the way to 1%. So I'm gonna put around 0530-ish. If I'm wrong, my loss is gonna be a little bit less. As you guys can see, boom, there you go. A little bit of a bearish candle right here. If it moves lower, I'm gonna re-enter, right? If I get stopped out, you guys see, boom, there you go. I got stopped out, which is absolutely fine. That's okay. I would be looking to re-enter just a little bit lower because RSI is still low, right? And then we will extend this fib right here, right? Even though we broke this level, I do have a 50% fib right here, which is absolutely fine. I'll take that setup one more time. And if we are wrong, we will be looking for a different one. But I think it would be valid setup still. Again, there are two ways you can take it. Because the take profit is so low, I would rather re-enter than extend my stop loss all the way lower, right? Because it would be too much of a stop loss and for my liking. Hence why I reduced my stop loss just now, okay? And you notice how the candle was pretty big, right? So you got to be careful with this type of candle because price could smash through this level and not necessarily respect that. Okay. We could just go all the way back to the next level. Keep that in mind. I think everybody is accepted page. I do accept people as they come in. Okay. Okay, so once again, got a little bit of a stop out, which is absolutely fine. Negative 1% on this trade, which is okay. I'll let the action develop, but once again, we have rejected these highs right here. So best case scenario, I wanted to take a short further into this area, but what you guys can see is price moving very, very rapidly into this area there, right? So most likely we won't get a very strong correction back to the upside. So what we could do at this stage is just take another long off of the next level. As you guys can see, we've broken the 50% approximately there, right? So I would be looking to get in around this whole area here. Okay. Next long opportunity that we're going to take is going to be off of these levels right there. Roughly stop loss at the previous low. Again, pretty big stop loss if you ask me, but we could give that a shot. Somewhere around this. Hopefully it makes sense for everybody. Again, apologies for a little bit of a stop out, but I think it's important to be transparent with you guys also, right? That not every trade that we take is going to be a profitable trade. Some trades you're going to take losses, but what's most important is that you're managing your risk every time you're taking a trade. And most importantly, any trade that you are taking, you have a good reason for that. Okay. You're not just blindly entering a trade because price has gone up or gone down. You are creating a reason for yourself to enter and you're giving yourself enough confluences to do so. Okay. So keep that in mind, please. Again, on a higher time frame, right? On this whole bullish move, we have these levels right here to enter from, right? And then we will pull up a fib for our extensions, how high we can go once we reach that level for our profit targets. Okay. We could potentially re-enter here. Price is creating a bit of a support area, but I like to catch bottoms. So I don't know if I'm going to enter right now. We could, but we'll stay away from that. Okay. We'll stay away. I usually notice how price moves in waves of three. So one, two, and then there could be a third wave there, right? So if we optimally get the third wave, we will reach down to our extension around like 89 area. That's from where I'll be more happy to take another long, considering we took one loss already, right? So if we get this third wave, that's from where I'll be happy to take one long. Okay, keep that in mind. Perfect opportunity would be the tap of the previous week, right? It was 6 minutes into our live trading session, but that's okay. As I say, not every trade is caught. What's important, I feel what's more important is to make sure you are fully aware of the market conditions and what you're looking for, right? Once again, we're still bullish as long as we are above the daily open, right? So best case scenario, what I would be looking to do is actually just get in on the retest right here. The retest of the highs, it would be a perfect opportunity to do so. And we'll see if we can get this opportunity to enter to the upside. Okay. Again, as you guys can see, right? Creating a bit of a bullish price action right here. Couple candles bullish, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we will blow past this level. What could happen is once again a tap right here and then continuation lower. So we're going to see how the price action reacts. Okay. There are two ways that we play from here. As I mentioned, we either wait for the price to reach this area and we take long off of here. That's our option number one, right? And then our option number two is we give this price time to retrace back to the upside. Notice how RSI is getting higher now, right? So we will draw a fib from the high to the low right there, right? And again, take a short off of the 50%, right? So that's our option number two. Short off of the 50% into this area there, okay? So those are the two options that we're playing with, either or we'll get into one of the trades, okay? Depending on what the price action shows us. And it doesn't matter for the most part what it does. What matters is how you react to the price. You can never predict the price. And one thing I also want to highlight for you guys as traders, your job is not to predict what the price is going to do. We're not, fortune tellers. We're traders, and as trader, your job is to react to what price is going to do. Okay. If the price gives you certain price action, gives you certain confirmations and indications, your job is to react to that price action and make sure you take your action accordingly. Okay. Keep that in mind. As you guys can see, price is rejecting this zone here. So we went past it, reached it, and we're rejecting it for now. So we're going to let it play out. Let me know if you guys have questions. We have quite a lot of participants. If you guys don't mind, I'm actually curious. If you don't have any questions trading related, do let me know where you guys are joining from. I know we have a lot of people from Canada. We have a lot of people from Philippines, but I'm not sure if we have people from any other countries or cities. I'm located in Toronto myself, so the hub, say Canadian hub of trading, right? So we have Philippines, we have Edmonton, amazing. We have Texas. That's actually pretty cool. Philippines, a lot of Philippines right there. Vancouver, Mexico, and we even have some Saudi Arabia. That is amazing. Somebody said it's Cebu. What is Cebu? I'm not sure. Sorry for my lack of knowledge of different countries, but I'm not sure what Cebu is. Let me check. Oh, so it's a province in Philippines, I guess, eh? Nice. Okay. Hey, you guys gotta teach me more about about Philippines. Hey, I have somebody from capital of Great Britain soon. All right, Greg, that's nice. That's nice. So we have international people right here. This is amazing. I appreciate you guys joining so much, and I really am very, very honored to have the opportunity to show you guys some educational materials here as well. Do let me know if you guys want anything specific for these sessions aside from live signals. We can arrange anything really, right? So if you guys want more educational content, more beginner stuff, we can do that, right? If you guys want more advanced trading stuff, we can do that as well. So just give me some feedback as to what you guys would prefer the most, and we could take some changes according to that. I know some people would want us to post the recordings of these sessions. I'm working with our management team to see if we can arrange that. Paige said that Page held that trade and it's in profit. That's good. That's good, Page. My approach to trading, so this one was a pretty tight stop loss, I'll be honest with you, right? So usually my stop losses are a little bit wider, like $3 to $4, so 30 to 40 pips on gold, sometimes even 50, especially for the purpose of these live trading sessions. But I wasn't very convinced that this level is going to hold, right? And I wouldn't want to take a drawdown of like $600. Once again, this is due to my risk management, right? So I to preferred to take a shorter stop loss on this trade because it wasn't necessarily perfect for me here. Okay, so some questions, that's good. There is one question. Oh, there's one more person from Taiwan. That's amazing. I have one friend from Taiwan. They were trying to teach me the language, but I was not very good at that. So somebody asked if it's possible to grow $20. Everything is possible because even I showed on my Instagram that I grew $60 US up to 660 in one day in 10 trades, right? So everything is possible. The only thing is that guys with the $20 balance, you got to be ready for that account to be gone very quick, right? So you won't be able to manage risk strictly, right? So just keep that in mind that if you are trading with 20 bucks and you're trying to flip it or grow it, etc., yes, you can potentially get it to 200, 500, 600. Our team has done it multiple times, but you got to make sure that your knowledge is there, your experience is there, and your trade management and psychology is there, right? So absolutely possible, right? You just got to have a good win rate and you got to have very reasonable stop losses, right? So definitely possible. There is one more question from Lee Law, and yeah, 20 bucks is a gamble, that's for sure. You got to trade with like $1,000 or so, right? To manage your risk and to make reasonable amount of money, right? Again, even 500, reasonable amount of money is different for everyone, but as I say to my clients and people in my community who join, $500 roughly, that's the minimum that you need to get started with to just feel that profits are there comfortably. Because once again, you're risking 10 bucks to make 20, 30, 40, right? For most people, 40 bucks in Canada, especially, it's like, a couple lunches, right? So it is a reasonable amount of money to make if you're starting with 500. Real quick, guys, we are reaching to this area of interest right here. As you guys can see, right, we rejected this level and went lower, right? So I just want to be careful here with my trade management. I'm looking to enter. Just bear with me a second. I would be perfect case scenario looking to enter right here. Just a little bit lower, a tad bit lower, like 89-ish, right? We didn't necessarily get that just yet. Let me remove this arrow here. I want to enter, but I want to enter a little bit lower. That's the importance of patience, okay? You got to know where you're looking to enter. You don't want to rush into it, right? See if I can place a limit order real quick. Say 90 even. That's it. There you go. Boom. We'll place an order here. Think it will get tagged. Should be tagged. Bear with me a second, guys. Admit some more people. Should be tagged. You see, the price action is pretty strong to the downside, so I got to be careful also myself. And for this one, we'll place our stop loss just low here. Oh, did we get tagged? Bear with me a second. We did. Okay, good. Our market buy is there. So we placed the limit at 89.80-ish. Okay. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna put stop loss just below this low right here. Okay. And then we'll see if it's right way to do it. Okay. So again, we did get tagged, guys. We are long, okay, at 89.80-ish. Sorry, my eyes are bad. And the stop loss is around 85.40-ish. So my risk is around 430 bucks. We're gonna even do the whole 2% right here. Okay. 89.80 to 84.80. Boom, here. Then stop loss around 84.80-ish. Okay, keep that in mind. It's a risky trade, but I do hope we will get a reaction off of this area here. And then for the targets, right, we can take this whole move to the downside that we had since the beginning of the session and then take our approach here, right? The extended target for this trade. So there are three targets that I would place, right? Target one will be around here, 93-ish. Target two right here, 96, and target three around 4,100. So three targets in total. Again, feel free, whatever one you like the best you can use, right? You can have a tighter stop loss with smaller take profit or bigger stop loss with bigger take profit. So for the stop loss that I have, it's around 2 to 1 risk to reward, 2.2-ish. Not too bad if you're gonna ask me. And we'll see if the trade lingers here a little bit longer, if it consolidates here for a little bit longer, I might add a second trade. If we just slip a little lower and then shoot up, I might add a second position here just to make up for the loss that we had and make additional profits over two lot trade if we get an opportunity to reinvest. But for now, very nice reaction, guys, as you guys can see, right? So boom, perfect reaction off of the zone. Exactly why I recommend using zones, right? And highlighting the levels that we show you guys. You can see how perfectly we tapped into this level and have a bullish reaction. At least it shows you guys that this is a relevant level. Sorry, I'm talking too much here. Right, so highlight the zones that I do, right? It is important to do so. And then I'll do 4,100-ish. Or actually, let's be a little bit more humble, right? Right here, 40.99-ish. Okay. 4099 is my final take profit. Still going to be a nice 900 bucks in terms of potential profit right there. Right. So we're going to leave it there. If it moves a little lower, I'll be happy to add it to it more. Okay. Let me get to admitting some more people real quick. Number one, trade is in. So trade is active. We're long from 40.89-ish, 40.84, 40.85 is where our stop loss is. Pretty much where this previous low is, guys, just to, again, visually represent it for you guys. This low right here is my stop loss. If you break it, we're going to see what's going to happen from there. But for now, a very decent reaction off of this level. Again, I don't like to overtrade, right? We could have taken a short here, yada, yada, yada. not for me. And again, this is not beginner friendly. What I want to teach our fellow beginners, people who are just getting started with PrimeVerse, learning patience, right? It's important to be patient and it's important to manage your trade the right way, right? You're not going to be entering into random trades. You want to be entering into trades that you planned in advance for, right? That will teach you guys risk management, that will teach you guys some consistency in your trading. Okay. Let me see if there are some questions real quick. Yeah, so we were waiting for the RSI to get low, which it did, as you guys can see, right? It went below 20, right? So when the RSI is low, as it is right now, it gives you guys a nice confluence to enter, right? And then based on this whole thing, right, we have a 61% fib as well as the previous highs as a confluence, right? That this is an important level from which we could get in from. Hence why this is a valid trade for me right here, right? I avoided getting in at 50%, but we did get in at 61, right? Because off of 50, we got a reaction, but it did not last very long. And even now, you guys can see that we're getting a bit of a rejection right here, right? So we'll see. We'll potentially add an additional trade if I feel confident in it. We'll see depending on how price action develops, okay? Okay. Okay, a couple questions. So for Leela, I want to quickly highlight that. Um, can I show how to put the fib? Okay, let's do that real quick. I think it's rather easy, so we'll get that out of the question. So fibs are available for you guys. Let me show you guys a clean chart. XAUUSD right there, a clean chart. Fibs are right here. Okay, fib retracement, you can add it to your favorites too. Okay, if you want. Fib retracement, and what you do is you highlight the high and the low, right? And you use your fib that way. Or this high and this low right here, right? So again, wherever you can see that there's been a move, right? And then move up and then move down, right? So all these smaller moves are breaking down into smaller, into wider price action, right? So if you manage your fib from the top, you pull it from the top to the bottom right here, from the top to the bottom. You guys can see how perfectly we tapped into 78%, right? So what we did is we went from here down here, man sorry, we measure this move, and then we can see price will come back into 78 before it continues to target number one. Well, this is target number one, this is target two, and target three, right? Same you can do with the next fib move, right? So this whole move right here, you can measure that, right? From the top wick to the bottom wick, right there, right? And then my fib settings, once again, guys, they're pretty standard, except for one thing, which is 71 right here. So 78, 61, 05 are standard fib settings, except for 71. That's what I use in between 61 and 78, just to find that like golden middle, right? And then I have the extensions at 61 and negative 0.618 and negative 0.27. So what it tells you is if we come up higher somewhere here, right, we can reach there, right? So these are your target one, target two, target three. So these gives you an extension for when we've reached this area here as to how far down we can go, right? So these are your fib settings. Hopefully it was helpful. Keep that in mind when you're placing your trades that you can use fib as an additional confluence for yourself, for you to enter a trade or for you to avoid entering a trade so you're not too early and you don't take unnecessary drawdown. Now, we do have an additional question right here. Let's check what the price is doing. So as you guys can see, we are rejecting a little bit right here. Okay, so we rejected right here. You can notice how we came up to the previous low and we've rejected that. Okay, so we got to be careful in terms of managing our trade right here. What I would like to see at its best is for the price to quickly swap the lows and move on higher. Okay, we could get stopped out on this trade. Got to be careful. So once again, it did not necessarily reach my take profit one even, right? So I'm going to stay in that trade for now, but got to be careful once again. I'm comfortable taking the loss if that's the case, but if you guys, for one reason or the other, are not as comfortable keeping that trade open, you might want to exit this trade just to avoid any losses. Okay, if you don't feel good about taking a loss. Um, okay, so there are two questions: how to find order block and fair value gap, and there is a second question similar to that. May I know how we identify the zone is from where to where? Is it range based or a 5 minute order block? So once again, this zone right here was not really based on any order block, guys. I'll be honest with you, right? So what I marked up is pretty much, well, you could say it's an order block, right? I'm not necessarily an order block trader myself, okay? So zone R highlights the order blocks and fair value gaps for me, right? I don't necessarily use that myself very much, but what I highlighted is this candle right here, right? So the last big bearish candle before the move higher, right? That's where my zone is coming from. Boom and boom, right? So this bearish candle right there before we moved up, right? But it confluences, right? It coincides that this is a double top right here, so an area of resistance, right? Along with a previous level right here. So when we had a reaction off of here, another reaction off of here. And if I pull it back, you guys will notice that we had a reaction off of here as well, right? So it's more so on a 5 minute time frame. I'm looking where the price stalled before the next big move, right? And you guys can see an area of reversal or an area of continuation to the upside. Hence why it is an important level for me personally, right? But it's not necessarily based on order block per se, right? Order block would be something like here, right? If you're looking for an order block is what? The last candle in a different direction before the move in the right one, right? So for example, your order block would be right here, right? This would be your order block in a way, and we tapped into it, right? Bearish order block, right? So yeah, you could say it's an order block. It coincides to be an order block, but I wouldn't necessarily call it one, right? So again, guys, we're getting a little bit lower. As you guys can see, we're retesting this low. Some people asked me if it's possible to re-enter. I think yes. I think it would be still valid at this point. And I would see if I would be looking to get into another entry right here. Okay. We'll give it a little bit more to play out, but I would say it is possible to re-enter. We've just tapped into the slow one more time, create another wick. So for anyone who got the opportunity to re-enter, hopefully you guys got it in a good price. Okay. So I just showed the fib settings. Let me know, please. Were you guys able to learn from the fib settings that I showed? Because the fibs are even available right now. Okay. They're right here, right? 0, 0.3, 0.5, 0.6, 0.71, 0.78, and then negative 0.27, negative 0.61. Okay, those are my fib settings. Keep those in mind. Take a screenshot. We'll be gone in 5 seconds. Now, somebody asked how to find order blocks and fair value gaps. That's more on a tricky side, this type of question. Okay. I'm not very big into trading fair value gaps myself, etc. I can identify if I look for them, right? But you see, as I taught you guys before, right? So fair value gap. What is a fair value gap, right? You can see here, for example, this big bullish move right there, right? It could be considered a fair value gap. Fair value gap is what? When the price moves very strong and very fast, right? Through some area and doesn't necessarily leave time for players in the market to fill their orders. And how you identify a fair value gap, let me just make this bigger. This bullish candle right here could be considered a fair value gap, right? Because it moved past the price very quick, right? And it's highlighted based on the previous candle's wick up until the wick of the next candle. So this is your fair value gap right here. And notice what we did is we pretty much retested that fair value gap just now, okay? Boom, right here. So we are retesting the area of fair value gap. Again, you guys can see how my fib levels and everything else is pretty much aligning with fair value gaps that are used in the new smart money concepts and all of that, right? And notice how we just got a reaction, right? So what happened? One more time. Notice we got a reaction off of the low initially, how I mentioned. It's a nice zone, an important zone to look into, right? We got a reaction, boom, couple bullish price candles. Now we had a reaction back down. We retested that low. Most people would probably place their stop losses below here, right? So what it did is essentially liquidate some traders who got into a long late. Hence why I'm saying, look, don't necessarily either time your entry right, or if the price is already here, don't re-enter late, right? Right here would be a nice opportunity to re-enter by all means. But what it's doing is essentially, how to say, essentially, it's rewarding people who got in early and taking away from people who got in late. Because if you got in late at this candle, you probably would have had your stop loss, you know, somewhere around here. Right there. Add the candle. And then you would have gotten stopped out, right? So it's grabbing the liquidity, retesting the area before it's going to fly higher, right? Notice our trade. Just simple, right, guys? Boom. Almost there. Almost at our take profit. Right there. Simple, easy, straightforward, right? A quick, nice reaction back into these highs. Don't know what to tell you guys aside from that. So once again, hopefully fair value gap explanation is simple. Now, order block is something different. So order block, for example, before we have this bearish move right there, right? Order block is this last bullish candle right here, right? So we have this order block right here. It's very small, but it could be considered an order block, right? So before price continues lower, there is this one bullish candle that we have. That last bullish candle is your order block, right? But again, guys, I'll be honest with you. These are just, I love the concept. Smart money concept is amazing. It is an institutional trading concept, but I just want to clarify that a lot of the concepts right here are just pretty much reused or rebranded or the reworded concepts from old school that I use myself. And I was able to master the old school technique as well. Hence why I don't necessarily use the new school order block and fair value gap because it coincides. You see this whole fair value gap. It literally is my zone, right? So my eyes kind of see fair value gap, if you want to call it. I'm gonna be a little greedy, guys. I'm gonna extend this all the way to take profit three. Okay. But if you guys were able to get in, please start taking your exits because we did reach TP1 and TP2. We blew past that, TP1, TP2. If you were able to get into that long, please, W's in the chat. Do let me know if you were able to get into a trade. Still running nicely at 50 pips. We did go as high as 80 pips. I'm going to keep it open for now. It did not reach my take profit, so we're going to keep it open for now and maybe even add to it. We'll see. Okay, let me quickly go through the chat. Hey, I see some W's 5 minutes ago. John Anthony, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, profits now in the buy. Good stuff. Good stuff. W's. Sunny, Leela, Joanna, everybody's tapping W's, guys. I appreciate it all. Hopefully, you guys were able to enter again. I don't like having losses live on the stream, right? But hey, look, full transparency. We did take an L, but we did take a win. One thing very important, we did not re-enter lower level. We did not rush into it, and we entered at the right time, at the right price, and we got a nice reaction off of that. So again, happy to show you guys some real trading, some losses, some wins. It's part of the game, right? But that's amazing. So for Ness, TP hit at 98. That's amazing. You caught it perfectly. 98 was like spot on. So your TP placement is amazing, Ness. I'll be looking to exit my trade around 99-ish. I do think it will go higher a little bit. Okay. For some reason, I feel like we'll get here. Okay. I'd love for it to get there, right? Now, what I can do, right? What I can do from here within my trade, I could add to it if we come down reasonably lower, right? So I could measure this area here, this move, and you see how 27% is within the 61% fib right there. Okay. So what you will see if we go down to roughly I'd love to re-enter around here, right? This zone right there. Again, guys, this is 1 minute trading, scalping, right, per se. But just to show you guys the thought process also, right? Again, anything that goes up has to come down before it continues, right? So if we get this opportunity, a re-entry to move a little bit higher, that would be lovely. But again, it is a little risky. RSI is not low enough, right? So it is going to be more so like a chase trade, right? But I do feel like we could go higher, 4,100-ish. And I'm going to move my take profit accordingly. A nice $1,000 for you to forget it. Okay. Oh, and what I'll do, I'll move my stop loss to break even, just to show you guys again, trade management. If your trade is so much nicely in profit, which is how much it is in profit now, like 400, $500, it doesn't matter the amount, right? It's halfway to my target, right? I really don't want to take a loss on this trade. Even if it comes back to my entry, I'll re-enter lower, right? So again, not very, emotional towards money as of right now. If it doesn't go through, that's fine. But full TP at 1,000 and stop loss at break even. So we either didn't make anything on this trade or we made a whole $1,000, which is amazing, right? So again, trade management is important. And again, guys, for y'all, because we have a pretty short stream, it's only 1 hour. I would be, if it gets here, right, for anybody who's going to be continuing to trade through the Asian session, I would be looking for it to sell off a little bit more, to be honest. So if we get this move up all the way there, I'd be looking to take a short, right? Just back into this area here, okay? And possibly even weekly and daily open, right? So just got to be careful. But keep it in mind, if we get to the upside and we finish the stream at that point, I would be looking to get into sells if the opportunity presents itself and if we have enough confluences. How do you manage your trade in the MT5 app on Mac? How do you close it? Is it right click or normal click slash enter? Let's see. So I close it on the phone, to be honest. Okay, I do close it on the phone, or what I do, I just move stop loss manually to my entry, and you can close it that way, right? Or stop loss, move stop loss, or take profit to where the price is. You can close it that way. That's a good question. Somebody can help us out, because I'm not necessarily closing. I literally have my phone for managing my trades, right? So I show you guys on the computer screen, but I literally have the same account right here on my phone, right? So if anything, I just close it on the phone. But that's a good question. How do you exit it? I know how to enter, but I exit on my phone. Okay, let's see if we can get a nice additional entry right here, guys, just for the sake of it, right? So we got a bit of a retest, 61, 71%-ish. It is a risky retest, but we'll take it. We'll buy one time, okay? And we will take our profit exactly same spot. Please. My stop loss gonna be just below that wick right there. Okay. Moving close to our entry right here. So let's see if I can move my stop loss a little lower. Okay. If I take an L, I take an L, that's fine. Hopefully you guys were able to take some profits. Price rejected pretty sharply off of this level here, as you guys can see. Okay. Ooh, oof, moving quick, guys. Moving quick. Let's do this. Can I just stop loss for the second one? Actually, you know what? If we get stopped out, that's fine. But I'd love for us not to, so I'll leave this one here a little bit lower, okay? I might be taking a stop loss on this entry here, re-entry, but the second one, I'll let it be. Again, trade management, I don't like how this trade came back all the way down, right? But you gotta do what you gotta do. Happens. But once again, quick update, right? RSI is pretty low. We came back, but what's possible is we're going to break these lows, break these ones, and enter from there. So that is a possibility. Keep that in mind. But I'd love to take another long off of these areas here. Okay. See, oh, okay. It went melting, guys. Went melting. Okay, let's see if we get another re-entry opportunity. 78% right here. Broke the lows, liquidity swap, right? See if we can re-enter one more time. Good area for re-entry. Yeah, let's try. Right there. Okay. So again, hopefully you guys were able to exit, but hopefully this is also a good learning, right? You guys notice how it almost reached my take profit of 900 bucks. It did not, right? We were very close. We were like 80 pips in profit roughly, right? But ended up essentially taking a loss on this trade, which is again, I want to be transparent. Sometimes it happens when the price gets there and moves sharply lower. It happens, right? What it did, it pretty much took the liquidity from lower, right? But that is absolutely okay. I'm fine with that because this is live trading. Nothing much you can do, especially that you're trading on a smaller time frame. And we're coming close to the weekly open area. Notice how the 78% fib got blown through, right? We're around negative 27%. So what could have been good in retrospective, right? Once we took this long right here and it reached the 38%-ish, it would be nice to take a short down to this target 27%, as you guys can see, right? But I didn't necessarily expect for the price to be going down so violently. So I didn't had the chance to take the trade. But in retrospective, again, I like this to be learning for a lot of people. So notice how we reached this area right here. We reached the 38%. The RSI was high, and we had a bearish trend since the beginning of Tokyo session, right? So we had a series of lower lows and lower highs and lower lows and lower highs, right? So this would have been a very, very nice trade. Again, based on these parameters, based on what we're discussing, from one perspective would have been very nice, right? But again, we did take a loss here, so that's okay. Live and learn, right? And not every trading session is going to be great. Just want to highlight this for you guys. But even if today's one is not great, next one will be better, right? Keep that in mind. See how that trade is doing. I think it's in a bit of a drawdown. I'd love to add one more trade here. Okay. So another buy for me personally. And below weekly open is where I'd be looking to exit. Okay. If I'm wrong, it's fine. We'll come back stronger tomorrow. But just one final opportunity for longs and stop loss below the weekly opens, all the way back to this layer area here. Okay. If you get it, good. If you don't get it, that's okay. Again, we have the daily open, we have the weekly open right there, right? So it's possible price could tap into these areas and then take higher from there, right? For some reason, I'm staying pretty bullish just because of the higher market trend, right? Keep in mind, right? We have the low, the high, the lower low, so forth, right? Maybe what I should have done to show you guys the perspective of things. Show you real quick. So the fib, we used it from the daily open, right? But if to be perfect, the fib could be taken from the low, right? You take the swing move, right? From this low on 3 and 5 minute time frame, right? From this low all the way to this high. That's where you pull your fib, right? So if we look at that fib here, it's 61% that we're tapping, and we are tapping this previous high right here. Okay. And then we have 71 and 78 lower, right? So got to be careful. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to take this one more opportunity at longing the market, unless it just blows past through it. That's actually fine. But again, for now, we had a nice trade, one loss, one win, which I did not properly manage, which is again, whose fault is that, right? We had some good sells, I'll be honest with you guys. So again, for this particular session, my bias was not necessarily very good. As you guys can see from when we entered, I did enter a sell. Entering another sell here would be nice, and entering another sell on the retest would have been good. So two nice sell opportunities that we did not take. Instead, we were trying to long the market, again, based on the fact that the market trend was pretty bullish for me right here, right? And what we're doing right now, we're reaching these areas lower, right? Which I'm not very happy about, but again, there is nothing much I can do about this, right? We'll keep that trade open for now. If you guys have any questions, do let me know. Not the best trading session so far, but again, full transparency. I want to be honest with you guys that not every trade plays out that you place, and not everybody will know directly what's going to happen in terms of market direction for each particular session. But I would be still looking out to be buying because we are at the weekly open and we are at the daily open, right? I'm still bullish at this stage unless we break this 4 hour area here. Okay. If we end up breaking this zone here, then yeah, we can turn bearish. But for now, I'm still bullish. Let me know if you guys have questions. We'll be rounding up today's stream. Not the best one, but hey, come back stronger, recover from the loss. And trust me when I say this, guys, next trading session that we have on Monday for Tokyo 8 p.m., I'll give you guys some good fire. Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all. Be careful. Again, manage your stop loss when the price is violent like this. Okay. Hopefully you guys are doing good. But everyone, do have a good evening. I will be in touch with you all next Monday. Okay. I'll be still looking for buys. Watch out. I had a strong manipulation just now. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Stop recording for now, and we'll do our best to get this stream posted to our PrimeVerse channel soon. Thank you, and